African American activist, youth correctional counselor, civics teacher, movement speaker, civil rights fighter, justice writer. These are the characteristics of a role model. A role model we chose as a leader who fights for social change is Shaun King. The relational leadership model. The relational leadership model is a process of people working together attempting to accomplish positive change. The model provides a framework in connecting 5 key elements of leadership that include purposefulness, inclusive, empowering, ethical, and process oriented. In using the model, we discuss the importance of practicing meaning of situations, such as the Black Lives Matter movement, and in becoming a learning community, as it tries to bring about social change. The first part of the relational leadership model is the purpose, and that is seen through Shaun King's vision. Shaun King shares values of involving other people in the process of making social changes. His mission involves change in society where justice will be acquired for people of color. He fights for civil rights to stop hate and end racism. Shaun King is committed to making changes as he wants everyone to acquire equality and fairness. He shares hope with people through social media, writing, and public speaking. Shaun King has a positive attitude of "we can do change." Just listen to his quote. "You don't have to be like me. You don't have to fight the issues I fight. You don't have to fight it in the way I fight the issues that I fight for. But all of us should be able to look at the world and say, yeah, this could be a whole lot better. I've been surprised, even in my own life, by things that we have fought for and won. I think people just have to understand that it is possible to fight for real changes and actually see it." Once again, this shows that Shaun King not only involves others, but makes meaning in his purpose. Now we move on to the inclusive part of the relational leadership model. Shaun King is a great leader as he includes diversity, dismantling the justice system, fighting injustice, oppression, and owning the future are the differences that Shaun believes he can make in society. He believes that everyone can make a difference by actively engaging diversity views. Shaun King has built coalition as he has become one of the most recognizable and powerful voices of civil rights in our current society. He has taken a large involvement in the Black Lives Matter movement. Make Change is one of Shaun King's books where it's about moments that have shaped his life to become an activist as he was beaten up and bullied growing up with discrimination. He shares stories from his efforts leading to the Raise of the Age campaign and his work fighting police brutality. So as you can see, Shaun King is inclusive and thoughtful about diversity as he fights for African American rights and racial minority groups, including fighting against police brutality and the criminal justice system for incarceration of minority groups. He shares similar experiences to those who are fighting for the cause. Empowering. Shaun King knows that certain policies were created to discriminate against minority groups and people of color. He promotes social change through the Black Lives Matter movement. He shares his power with others through social media as he has adopted media to rally and unite people of separate backgrounds. He has now become one of the most followed activists because he has listened to what people have to say. He knows that each individual has an influence on social change through petitions to make laws change. Shaun King encourages individuals as he has spoken in 35 states and over 100 college campuses, in jails and prisons, reaching out to those who may feel left out by public speaking out to them. He tries to reach out to the young generations, looking ahead into the future's vision. Once again, Shaun King empowers outgroup members to take a stand against injustices and inequalities that are occurring every day as minority groups are discriminated through social movements, protests, and organized groups. Ethics in leadership are broken down by character, actions, goals, honesty, power, and values. Shaun King shows character is shown through involvement with community, his respect for authority, how he protects the environment. Shaun King's actions are that of a great leader as they include respect, serving others, showing justice. He is committed to social change behaviors as seen by the Black Lives Matter movement. Shaun King himself knows what it felt like to be discriminated as he was assaulted growing up where he had 3 spinal surgeries, fractures in his face, and was in a lot of physical pain. He identifies with the people who have gone through similar physical and emotional pain. He knows he is fighting for a great cause. Shaun King has no problem opening up his life to people by sharing personal stories. He opened up his bank statements to the public to see where his donations were going to. He shows that he has nothing to hide. He shows expert power through strong knowledge of what he is talking about as the victim of discrimination himself. He has legitimate power as Shaun King has people of power in his team, and he is a writer for Harvard Law School. Reward power is seen through fundraising that allow for financial stability of families in need. Coercive power was shown as he found the suspects involved in the hit and run of protesters at Charlottesville, creating justice for the death of innocent protesters. The process is the outcome of how individuals interact with each other and the leader to accomplish change. It is seen by Shaun King in his effort to make a difference in society by using media to get people to sign petitions. He sparks rallies and protests by making sure that people know about the discrimination occurring every day, including police brutality. He fundraises to give back to the community who are in the position they are now because of the gap between the rich and the poor. He is constantly raising awareness through the use of social media as he uses it to communicate with his followers. Shaun King has created organizations that build synergy as a team to confront those who discriminate. Shaun King has an intention to change laws that will reform the justice system and create equality in order to stop hate from occurring. He recruits and involves everyone who freely wants to join him to make social justice and, in the long run, be able to obtain human rights. Shaun King's leadership style is democratic. King leads an effort to expose how racism is not dead and forgotten, but merely a virus, and one that manifests in different forms in every age. He connects with individuals through similar experiences. He considers racism, mass incarceration, and policies that criminalize racial minorities in today's society as a problem that will not solve themselves. Making sure that everyone is heard, he tends to use we instead of I throughout his articles and writings. The writings also involve giving suggestions without the intention of forcing people to make a difference. As an activist of Black Lives Matter movement, King helps individuals see their present place in the current American history through the use of guidance. Shaun King recognizes people who know their local problems and can advocate for the problems and against the issues in a smart and effective way, such as protesting. The democratic leadership that Shaun King contains relates to the theory why. As leaders that use this theory view followers as capable and interested in working on their own without pressure. Leaders in the theory do not try to control followers through the use of coercion or external reinforcement. Leaders are aware of their followers' motivation and commitment. Instead, they give their followers ideas to continue succeeding. Leaders support their followers without the need to direct or control them. The behavioral theory is a state in where there is interaction with the environment rather than a biological aspect. Shaun King himself has become a great leader through the struggles that made him a better person. He has had to fight against injustice and racism. He did not become a leader genetically. From what makes up behavioral theory, one can tell that Shaun King has a blend of task-oriented and relationship-oriented skills. Task-oriented includes initiating structure, production orientation, concern production, and assisting a group. Shaun King has shown to be task-oriented as he organizes programs such as the Grassroots and Fair Punishment Project. Grassroots is his current project where he funds to give legal expertise to transform policies and justice in the U.S. His goal is to defund police and invest in communities and end police violence, reform immigration, and decarceration. Shaun King is also considered relationship oriented as he is considerate of his behavior, provides orientation and concern for people. The entire point of him being a followed activist is that he respects his followers and stands up for their needs. He advocates for the Black Lives Matter movement because he knows the changes that people want. He connects with people, making them young activist leaders fighting for civil rights. He also supports other members who are activists, such as Colin Kaepernick, who sparked movement among the athletes by taking a knee during the national anthem. Shaun King's leadership skills include conceptual abilities that are made up of problem solving, strategic planning, creating vision. Shaun King is well aware of social problems that are occurring based on discrimination in the U.S. He knows that it is no longer a city, local, or state problem, but rather a national level. He fights for better policies and equalization of rights. Shaun King has organized several projects such as the Fair Punishment Project. His plan is to outreach the public by continuing to make motivational speeches around the world, write for Harvard Law School, and other news media like The Insert. King knows that juveniles nowadays are the next generation as he tries to reach out to them seeking a better future. His goal is to start seeing deaths from discrimination go down, including police brutality. Shaun King's leadership skills also include interpersonal abilities that contain social perception, showing emotional intelligence, handling conflict. Shaun King writes articles for The Appeal where he connects with people talking about the knowledge that he knows and the political issues being faced. For instance, the importance of voting for district attorney as it plays a major role in the reformation of the criminal justice system. A quote showing Shaun's motivation is, "We can either pivot and change some of our actions altogether or add some new actions on top of the old ones. Either way, it's time for something new." The quote emphasizes that Shaun is not afraid to make changes, and in a way wants to motivate his leaders to stand up with him. He understands people's emotions, wants, and needs through social media. Social media is a powerful tool that allows people to connect. It allows for them to know about social movements and political issues. It provides enhancement for people to care about what is going on around them. Through social media, people learn about daily incidents based on police brutality, such as Ferguson's and George Floyd. King, through the use of social media, brings awareness, telling stories which normally would have disappeared but instead are remembered in a powerful way. Shaun bravely put in effort to identify and arrest violent white supremacists who brutally attacked men and women in Charlottesville, Virginia. He saw the conflict and chaos it had brought, so he handled it by making justice, going after the attacker who brutally killed those protesters in Charlottesville. Managing content conflict. King knows how to manage content conflict when it arises. A major conflict he had to face was when Elaine Brown critiqued the Black Lives Matter movement because she said it was a copy of the Black Panther Party. There was a struggle between leaders and the way they dealt with the party and movement. Shaun kept it professional and acknowledged the different beliefs and values based on the era difference. He didn't compare or contrast the movement and the party. He rather focused on the goal of each one. He managed to stay focused that they both were fighting for similar causes. They were fighting for equality and civil rights.